The World Series is over for another year, and this tournament was fairly good, actually. It wasn't quite as exciting as we couldn't expect with other majors and darts recently, but it was still good overall, some good quality games in there. And yeah, overall, I think a very, very satisfying conclusion as well. For once, one of the Lukes hasn't won a major title, which is a rarity these days. And of course, it's the first title in 2 years for Michael van Gerwen, and I'm sure, as I am, as many of you are, you're absolutely delighted for him. I know I am. I was so happy for him last night winning that game. And overall, I thought he was by far the best player this weekend as well. So he very much deserved to win the title. And yeah, I'm absolutely delighted for him. And hopefully now we can sort of see a Van Gerwen who can actually compete properly. Now, because unfortunately, the last couple of years he's been in the round, the odd semi-finals and finals. He hasn't quite been hitting the heights as what we know he can do. And so yeah, basically this tournament is just going to be me just going over the tournament, looking at my predictions, the highest averages, the best games, the worst players, because a couple of players had a bit of a shocker every weekend, I'll be honest. And yeah, just have a little debrief of this tournament. So we'll start off with my predictions I made before the tournament started. And I felt as though with this tournament this weekend, it was a very predictable tournament. Yeah, there wasn't too many shocks or upsets this weekend, which is again pretty unusual these days in darts. Yeah, it feels like in a lot of my score predictions, I was getting them right more than not, so to speak. And it was only really towards the end, like the semi-finals, stuff like that, where I actually was getting them wrong because they basically were 50-50 guesses at that point. But I did have Josh Rock to win the whole tournament, and to be fair, I got pretty close. He got to the semi-finals, which was a very good run for him. Obviously, again, unfortunately, wasn't going to be for him this weekend, but you know, it feels like a major title is going to be on the way for him pretty soon. I had Luke Littler to make runner-up, which I got correct, so I'm pretty happy about that one. My two semi-finalists, other than Rock and Littler, I had Wade and Geraint Price. Again, Geraint Price got that right. I got 3 of the 4 semi-finalists absolutely spot on, which I'm pretty happy with. Obviously, James Wade was the other one I had, and although he got knocked out round 1 this tournament. And yeah, again, the other players I had making it further than what I actually did. Nathan Aspinall, I thought he'd get the quarterfinals. He got, again, round 1 he got knocked out. Russell Nyman, I thought we got the quarterfinals. He got knocked out round 1 as well. Other than that, though, I got Chris Dobie there correct, which I thought it was Chris Dobie. I had him to get the quarterfinals. I also Damon Hector again. He got knocked out round 2. So yeah, overall, I mean, my predictions weren't brilliant, but I thought for the most part they were pretty good, more than not. And again, you know, again, a few people we'll have a look at other people who I thought would get knocked out would go through from round 1. So again, Bunting lost round 1. He had a pretty poor tournament. I thought Wade would win. He got knocked out. Maynard got knocked out. Nyman, I thought he would go through. He got knocked out. As I mentioned, Nathan Aspinall, I thought he would make it through. He got knocked out. Cord Decker, we'll talk about him later on. He got knocked out as well. And then, but yeah, overall, I think all these things I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 16. It's not bad going at all. And to be fair, some of these were, again, last leg decider. So again, Cord Decker lost last leg decider. Nyman lost last leg decider. What Amina did. So yeah, a lot of these were last leg deciders, so I wasn't too far off. So yeah, overall my predictions, although I didn't get the actual winner correct. In fact, I thought the winner would get knocked down round 1. I'll be honest, I thought Van Gerwen would lose the first round. But he won in the end. So I suppose in a way that was kind of unpredictable. But you know, to be fair, it was a pretty good. It was a 50-50 game with him and Nyman anyway, so I think that's what we expected, really. So going into my top 5 best performers of the weekend, and this probably won't be too much of a shock, this list here. So I got Van Gerwen, obviously. You know, again, he had a fucking tough run to the finalists, but you know, you had Nyman first round, and Rob Cross, Luke Humphries, Josh Rock, Luke Littler, so he's a tough run, Van Gerwen. He said you had to play the 2 Lukes, Josh Rock, so them 3 probably the top 3 players in the world right now, and Rob Cross, former world champion, and Russell Nyman, who's definitely up there. So yeah, Van Gerwen had a tough route to the final. Of course, Luke Littler, I mean, to be honest, overall, I thought Luke Littler actually got quite lucky to get to the final, and I'm sure he'll probably meant that as well. I mean, it was looking for a long time, it was looking as though it was going to be just another tournament where Littler just absolutely seemed to get through the final no matter what would happen, you know. Whitlock should have beaten him round 1. Johnny Clayton should have beaten him round 2. I mean, that Johnny Clayton game was Jesus Christ. To be fair, Ross Smith was a brilliant game with Ross Smith. Ross Smith couldn't have done any more in that game against Little. It was a really good game with Dawson, Gerwyn Price. that was not good in the semi-finals at all. But yeah, I thought you've got to credit Littler. He's probably got the best bottle of any darts player right now. He's always, even when he's miles behind in games, he's still expecting to get back into it. And I think the match play was definitely a big example of that happening. But more so this weekend, he was in a lot of situations there, and they got stuff out of, and ultimately fell short in the final. But you've got to put him up there. Gerwyn Price, I just mentioned before. I mean, to be fair, he's going to be absolutely livid that he bottled it against Littler. He absolutely bottled it. 9-5 up in the race for 11, and you win one of the next fucking 7 legs. Just not great. It's not great from Gezi. It really isn't. And again, it's a pretty poor way to exit. It was again been a good weekend for Price. But again, a brilliant comeback against Chris Dobey in the quarterfinals. Against Barney round 2, a good comeback there, and then obviously a very dominant game over Danny Lowry in round 1. So you had that Gerwyn Price again, a very good weekend. Just unfortunately, it fell short at the semi-finals. Josh Rock as well played very, very well all weekend. Ratajski sort of gave him a little bit of issues for round 1. He overcame it. Whitewashed Danny Noppert round 2, which was an absolutely blistering performance. Like that was for me the stand-up performance of the weekend. That Noppert, he absolutely blew him out the park. And then the fairly comfortable win against Mike Decker as well in the quarterfinals. So it's where Decker didn't really turn up that game, to be fair. It was quite easy for Josh. And then, unfortunately for him against Van Gogh, he ran into Van Gogh, who had the crowd behind them. And unfortunately for Josh, I think he just ran out of steam that one. And then Ross Smith is my other one. I mean, to hear Ross Smith again, like I mentioned before, he couldn't have done anything more in his game against Luke Littler. He really he played absolutely tremendously in that game. He was absolutely fantastic. 10-8. I mean, yes, he missed the double 7 to take it to a deciding leg. I think he probably would have preferred to have hit the single 18 and then the bull rather than the treble and the double 7. But yeah, really much for Ross Smith in that game again. He's had a brilliant weekend. First round game against Johnny Tartar, he wasn't quite at the races, but he managed to get the job done. Again, pretty comfortably beat Dave Chisnell round 2. Again, it wasn't a brilliant game to watch, but he got the job done. But again, the quarterfinal against Littler, unbelievable game of darts. Really, really was. Definitely for me, one of the games of the year so far, for sure. But unfortunately for him, he just came up against Luke Littler. Essentially, that's all it is really. But yeah, Ross Smith, he's starting to be more consistent on the TV stages now, which I think is really, really important for him. And again, I think like Josh Rock, I think a major title, well, a second one for Ross Smith is definitely. I'll be surprised if we get to the end of next year, Ross Smith hasn't won another major, or at least gotten close enough to win one. If you know what I mean, like he's definitely a top 10 player in the making. I think Ross Smith. Now going into my top 5 worst performance of this weekend, and to be honest, there wasn't really any standout ones for me, really. I mean, yeah, there were a couple, but I think in this list, like, I haven't included any of the, like, players like Brandon, Hope I Poo Up, the players, I haven't included those guys because they weren't really expected to do much in this tournament anyway, so I haven't included those guys. I've included the proper pros who are usually a lot better than what they showed. And first of all, Nathan Aspinall. I mean, what an absolute howler he had on the outer ring this weekend. Just absolutely 11 missed darts and a double in a race to 6 just isn't good enough at all. And to be fair, his scoring wasn't great at times either. Went 6 perfect darts into a leg, but over Aspinall just really, really poor for his standards. And unfortunately for him, he's got to do better, in my opinion. But again, it's a non-ranking event, so it's not going to count too much. Cameron Menzies, I mean, it just goes to show what a flip-flop player he can be. I mean, his game against Peter Wright first round, absolutely incredible. For me, the best I've seen him play ever on TV stage against Peter Wright first round. He's absolutely outstanding. And then against Chris Dobey in the second round, bear in mind that his games against Wright and Dobey on the exact same day. Obviously, he played Peter Wright on the afternoon and Dobey on the Saturday night. Dear God, Menzies, what the fuck was that? Honestly, mate. Like, it's so frustrating with Menzies because he's clearly a very good player. He literally is on the verge of the top 32 right now. He's clearly better than his ranking suggests he is, but there's just games like that on the TV stage where he just loses his head so easily. And yeah, I mean, to like obviously like a lot of the guys are with sports psychologists now, Menzies needs to fucking get one sorted for him as well, because honestly, it's so easy for him here to lose his head. And yeah, I believe he recorded the lowest average of the whole weekend and in World Series history for in Amsterdam. You know, I think he averaged like 66. Like fucking pub players average higher than that. Like it's just not good for Menzies. Really poor. Joe Cullen. I mean, to be fair, I think Joe Cullen had quite a few high expectations going in this one. Because obviously he won on the Pro Tour. He won all his. He won both of his Euro Tour qualifiers as well. He was in good form going into this game, but yeah, against the first round, just things just were not going his way at all. And then yeah, unfortunately for Cullen, we're sort of back to what we've been getting used to from Cullen lately. I think in the last sort of year or so, he just hasn't quite been at the race lately. And yeah, just another pretty dull performance really in this one. Stephen Bunting as well, the number 1 seed going into this weekend, out first round, and truthfully out without much of a fuss as well. I mean, yeah, if it is 6-4 to Nobbert, but yeah, Bunting just didn't turn up. Did not turn up at all. Really poor. And yeah, again, for someone who's had such a good year on the World Series, you'd be thinking, well, you know, he'd be one of the favourites going into the tournament, and he was rightly so, but just didn't turn up at all. He just didn't turn up, and yeah, just really disappointment from Stephen Bunting, really, to be fair. Yeah, not great at all. And then finally, I've got Jermaine Wattimena as my final one. Although to be fair, like this was sort of like a last minute inclusion because I couldn't really quite think of anyone else really. I mean, yeah, you're on home soil, so you'd think that would help. But I mean, yeah, that game against Kevin Dutz was just pretty poor. I mean, to be fair, Dutz himself didn't play that much better either. Like it was a pretty poor opening game to kick things off with. But yeah, Wattimena, he's so much better now. He's well 25 now. He's up there. You know, he's not a bad player. He needs to. He can do better than that. He just wasn't quite at the races in that game there. Now moving on to the top 5 highest averages the whole weekend. So it's going from 5th to 1st. I mean, to be fair, some of the averages recorded in this one were absolutely insane. Like there were some great ones I haven't made the list. Obviously, Van Gerwen, 104.75 against Boston Nyman in the first round game. I mean, that was an incredible game to watch. And yeah, Van Gerwen 104, like just shy of 105, being the 5th highest average, just shows how good some of these games were. They really were. Ross Smith, again, averaging 106.12 against Luke Littler in that quarterfinal game. Yeah, honestly, I felt so bad for Ross Smith in that game. He, again, I'll keep saying that. He didn't put a foot wrong. Like, he really didn't. Then Van Gerwen, again, 106.45 against Luke Humphries. I mean, to be fair, Van Gerwen, he fucking made light work of Luke Humphries. And to be fair, not many people can say that in the last 2 years. But they've made Luke Humphries look like a complete amateur. Like Van Gerwen destroyed them in that game. Yeah, really good in there. And of course, Luke Littler obviously averaging 107.31 against Ross Smith as well. I mean, yeah, that game was absolutely nuts. It really was. And then highest average by .05, Josh Rock, averaging, as I mentioned before, obviously he whitewashed Danny Nobbert, and he did so with 107.36 average. It's literally .05 higher than Littler was in this game against Ross Smith. And to be fair, Littler's wasn't in a race of 10 rather than a race of 6. So you could argue that Littler's was more impressive, but yeah, Josh Rock for me, highest average of the weekend. And for me, that was probably the standout performance as well. Absolutely unreal from Josh Rock there. Now for my best 5 games, and again, these aren't in any particular order, just games I put up. So yeah, obviously of course, Littler against Ross Smith, the quarterfinal game, just absolutely insane game of darts that was. Yeah, I mean, like for me, so far personally, that's up there with one of the best games of the whole year. And considering some of the games that we got in the match play towards the end, it was a good game, really was. As well, look at that his game against Gerwyn Price. I mean, to be fair, Gerwyn Price again, he should have won it. You're 9-5 up in a race for 11, you lose. It's just Gerwyn, man, it sucks. But yeah, fair play, Littler, 9-5 down. Again, win 6 of the next 7 legs to win it in the decided leg. Yeah, unbelievable from Littler. And to be fair, that last leg as well, unbelievable from Littler as well. They also got Nyman against Van Gerwen, opening round game, 6-5 win for Van Gerwen. I mean, again, we talked about Ross Smith. He couldn't have done any more against Littler. Well, Nyman, he couldn't have done more against Van Gerwen. I mean, one dart missed at double the entire game for Nyman, and it was for the match. The only dart at a double he missed. And then Van Gerwen comes in and wins. I mean, to be fair, that was a crazy game. Yeah, brilliant from both, really was. I got Luke Humphries against James Wade again, round 1 game. Again, 6-5 to Humphries last decider. I mean, to be fair, like, neither player was really at absolutely blistering best, but just the overall, I think just the overall consistency in the game between the two players, yeah, it was still a good game to watch. And finally, my last one, my surprise matchup, I've got Cole Decker against Van Barneveld. Cole Decker, man, I mean, again, he had it in his hand. I think it was 5-3 up in this game to Cole Decker. Barney with an absolutely unbelievable comeback. Decker missing so many match starts at double. It was absolutely insane. And yeah, he'll be absolutely fuming with himself. But yeah, Barney, I mean, to be fair, one thing I will say about Barney this weekend, right, it was for once, and I've said it in a long time, it was an absolute pleasure to watch Barney this weekend. It's been a long time since I said that. I mean, usually I'm just depressed watching Barney because he isn't fully at it. You know, you can tell he's not quite on his absolute A game, and he's playing quite poorly. But in his 2 games against Decker and Gerwyn Price, he looked like he was having fun. You know, he actually played very well. And again, he was unfortunate to lose against Gerwyn Price, in my opinion. Yeah, just said Barney. It was an absolute pleasure watching him this weekend. It really was. It was good. It was good to see him win games and look happy. You know, like if Barney's happy, I'm happy. You know what I mean? It was good to watch him happy. And then yeah, again, great comeback against Cole Decker in a first round game. And now I'm really looking at just some of the key moments from the whole tournament. And for me, obviously main one, Van Gerwen won his first major in 2 years. I mean, again, two years is a long time for a player like Van Gerwen to not win a title in. Like, it's absolutely insane. I mean, yeah, he's won the Pro Tour and the Euro Tour, but yeah, his first major in 2 years. And yeah, again, he's fully deserved of winning the game. He fully deserved to win it. You know, you can't argue otherwise, in my opinion. He was absolutely unbelievable that game. Yeah, fair play Van Gerwen. For Gabriel Clemens, missed double 12 for 9 daughter against Mike Decker first round. I mean, to be fair, if that had gone in, because I believe Decker actually won the leg afterwards as well. So if Clemens hit a double 12, he might have won that game, to be fair. I mean, yeah, to be fair, it wasn't a brilliant game again between Clemens and Decker, but yeah, I mean, again, so close to 9 daughter, really so close. And then of course, obviously I mentioned before, Nyman's only missed dart at a double to beat Van Gerwen. I mean, again, if that goes in, Nyman wins the game. Van Gerwen doesn't win the whole tournament. You know what I mean? Like if literally, it's absolutely crazy how one missed dart can change the whole tournament. Absolutely mental. It really is. And of course, again, mentioned before, Gerwyn Price, obviously his comebacks against Barney and Dobie. I mean, again, against Barney, 3-1 down, the race to 6. Barney has a card on his side. It was looking pretty bleak for Price. I mean, to be fair, although Price, he was still playing very well. Barney was just playing better than him. But yeah, Price, fair enough, he wins 5 of the next 6 legs, and then yeah, beats Barney in the end. And against Chris Dobie, I mean, to be fair, Dobie, he's a player who I don't give too much credit for. You know, the whole Sun and Newcastle rivalry thing. It's daft, I know. But Dobie, I mean, again, I thought Dobie in the first 10 nights against Gerwyn Price in a quarter final, that was the best Dobie's played all year for me. And yeah, to be fair, in the end, again, Gerwyn Price just had that little spur towards the end, which really propelled him on to win that game. And of course, Dobie obviously hit the big fish as well. So that's that as well. But yeah, overall, again, just a brilliant game. And yeah, it was good for Price to come back to win that one. And then finally, of course, again, I mentioned before, Luke Littler, his comebacks against, in particular, against Clayton and Price. I mean, how funny is that? The two Welsh lads are the ones who both should have beaten Littler. Let's be honest. I mean, to be fair, like, I mentioned Willock before. I mean, to be fair, like, it was just one of those games where he was slightly in front and then Littler just came back from behind to win it in the end. But yeah, Clayton 3-0 up on Littler. The race is absolutely cruised, and Littler just wasn't playing well at all. And yeah, Johnny absolutely collapsed. He really did. And again, I've spoiled that before already, but the Gerwyn Price one was just not good at all from Gezi. Really wasn't. For a world champion and a major winner, just to completely lose concentration, just chuck it away. It's just not great. And to be fair, you could say the same with Clayton as well. Multi-major winner to be 3-0 up in the race to 6 and not win. Not brilliant. I'll be honest. So to end this video, I thought I'll just have a look at the upcoming events in the next sort of month or so. So next weekend we are in Budapest for the Hungarian Darts Trophy Euro Tour. That's happening then next weekend, and then after that we are in Basel for the Swiss Darts Trophy, and then after that, after that's done, that's then the cut off for the Grand Prix qualification, which as it stands, you could argue is as good as done. I mean, obviously again, this wasn't a ranking event, so obviously there wasn't anything going on, but yeah, looking at the current Pro Tour order merit for the Grand Prix, I'll be surprised if Zonnevalder Barney overtook O'Connor. If we're being honest, I mean, yeah, I'll be surprised if the current 32 for the Grand Prix changes. But, you know, stranger things happened, of course, has been mentioned as well. But yeah, I think I'll be surprised if that changes really. And then we've got a couple of Pro Tours in the build-up to the Grand Prix, which on the 6th of October. 3 weeks today, the Grand Prix starts. You know, it's getting to that time of the year again. You know, the majors are just coming in thick and fast, and yeah, I cannot wait for it to get underway. I'm sure you guys can't as well. But guys, that's gonna be it for the video. Hope you guys did enjoy it. You know, just a little detox of the World Series of Darts finals. Let me know that down below. How do you find the tournament? Who impressed you the most? Who did you think was pretty poor? Stuff like that. You know, just give me your general thoughts. But yeah, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time.